You see them every single day. The gleaming skyscrapers, the massive bridges that stitch our cities together. But have you ever really stopped to think about what it takes to bring these things to life? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the unseen force that literally builds our world. I mean, just think about it for a second. A huge construction project is, well, it's a symphony of pure, controlled chaos. You've got thousands of workers, tons of materials, super complex blueprints, and deadlines that are just crushing. It's the kind of place where one tiny mistake can spiral into a huge, expensive problem. Every single project is a battle. And lately, that battle has gotten so much harder. Not long ago, the industry got hit with a staggering 22% spike in material costs in just 1 year. That kind of jump can completely destroy a budget and stop a project dead in its tracks before a single shovel hits the ground. And it's not just about the money, it's about the people, or the lack of people. Right now in the US alone, there are over 500,000 unfilled jobs for skilled workers. You can have the best plans in the world, you can have all the money you need, but without the skilled hands to actually build the thing, a blueprint is just, well, it's just a piece of paper. So you've got this perfect storm, right? Costs are through the roof, and the workforce is shrinking. It really makes you wonder, who's the person that steps into all this chaos and somehow makes sure these incredible structures actually get built, and get built on time and on budget? Well, that's the answer, and it's what this whole explainer is about: the construction manager. This is the professional who wades into that storm, whose entire job is to wrestle with all that complexity and somehow, against all odds, deliver. So, what is construction management exactly? The official definition says it's a professional service that uses project management techniques to guide a project from start to finish. But what does that really mean? It means they're there for the whole ride, from the first napkin sketch all the way to that final coat of paint. Honestly, I think there's a much better way to think about it. A construction manager, or a CM, is basically the orchestra conductor of the whole project. Now, they don't play the violin or the trumpet themselves, but they're the one making sure every single person, from the architects to the electricians to the crane operators, is all playing in perfect harmony at the right tempo from the exact same sheet of music. And that gets right to the heart of what they do. A CM's main goal is to control four things: the project's scope, its time, its cost, and, this is a big one, its quality. I like to think of it like a table with four legs. If any one of those legs is too short or too long, the whole thing gets wobbly and unstable. The CM is the guardian of that balance. But, not all CMs are the same. The role really comes in two main flavors. First, you have an agency CM. Think of them as a pure consultant, basically an extension of the owner's team, giving advice. But then you have this CM at risk. This person does all that advising up front, but then they go a step further. They commit to a fixed price and actually take on the financial risk to get the project built. It really all boils down to one question: who's holding the risk? So how in the world do they do it? How does one person, one role, manage all that risk and complexity? It's not magic, not at all. It's a system. So let's open up their playbook and take a look at the absolute core of their strategy: risk management. Okay, first things first, you gotta know what you're up against. A CM is constantly scanning the horizon for all kinds of risks. You've got financial risks, like costs spinning out of control; schedule risks, like a freak snowstorm; design risks, errors in the plans; safety risks on the job site; and of course, the giant web of contracts and legal stuff. And here's the system they use to tame all that chaos. It's a 5-step loop that never stops. 1, they identify every possible thing that could go wrong. 2, they look at each risk and ask, how likely is this and how bad would it be? 3, they come up with plans to avoid those risks or at least make them less painful. 4, if something does go wrong, they jump into action with their backup plans. And 5, and this is key, they review everything so they can learn and get better for the next project. This process is the engine that keeps everything under control. But here's the thing, just being a master of today's risks isn't enough anymore. The role of the CM is changing at an incredible speed, mostly because technology is completely reshaping the entire construction industry. So let's look at what's coming next, because the future is pretty much already here. One of the biggest game changers is something called a digital twin. The idea is you create this super detailed, data-rich virtual copy of the actual building. It's not just a pretty 3D model, it's a living simulation that lets you find and fix expensive problems in the digital world before they ever become real-world headaches. And the results? They're staggering. By using these digital models to monitor the project in real time, teams are cutting down on costly rework, redoing things that were done wrong, by as much as 40%. That is a massive saving in both time and money, all because they built it in the computer first. All right, next up, AI-powered robots are leaving the factory and showing up on the construction site. And the goal here isn't to replace people. It's all about augmenting their skills, letting robots take on the jobs that are super dangerous, incredibly repetitive, or need a level of precision that's just tough for a human to do all day. And this isn't some sci-fi dream. This is happening right now. We're talking about robots that tie rebar automatically, that finish concrete perfectly smooth every time, that can do incredibly complex welds, and even robots that lay bricks with amazing speed and accuracy. These tools are completely transforming the job site. And the third major trend that's shaping the future is sustainability. Look, building green isn't just a nice little bonus anymore. With new regulations and customers demanding it, it's quickly becoming a basic requirement for doing business. And this means CMs have to rethink, well, pretty much everything. They need to become experts in new low-carbon materials, they have to manage the switch to electric bulldozers and cranes, and they have to navigate all these complex green building certifications. Sustainability isn't just a goal, it's a whole new skill set for the modern construction manager. So the construction manager started out as that conductor, the one who brought order to chaos. But as technology and sustainability completely rewrite the rules of the game, their job is transforming. They're not just managing risk anymore, they're becoming leaders of innovation. The blueprint for our future is being redrawn as we speak, and it's going to be the construction managers who turn that vision into our new reality.